bullets hit the fan, we're overrun. Sending boys in the trucks with the 50 cals. Tell every swinging dick bring extra rounds. Hang in now, boys, we're on our way. Don't send them on to heaven before we get a taste. Whoa, cry havoc, let's slip the doors away. What you gonna do?
What's happening, folks? Welcome to the Double S Podcast. I'm flying solo tonight, y'all. Brother Brian had himself a little bit of a documented little issue at a fire call that he was on, and so he needs to take a break from this. First and foremost, I want to let you guys know this episode is pre-recorded. We are not live. I am traveling right now, and Brian's got stuff going on here. These next two episodes are going to be recorded episodes. Doesn't mean they're not going to be good. These are going to be great. You're going to love this show tonight here. Got a super special guest that's going to be joining us in here. And so, yeah, but just so you know, if you're talking to us right now, we're not actually here, man. This is recorded. So just know that. But please do leave a comment. Please do throw it down there. We'll respond to it when we get back amongst civilization and in the living there. But just make sure. Let's pay the bills here. Of course, all these episodes brought to you by none other than the Romans Warrior Foundation. Hashtag helping is healing. Go check them out, romanswarriorfoundation.org. If you'd like to join in that helping nature way, if you want to volunteer, you want to see what the programs are that we're doing, go check them out at the website. Highly encourage you. One of the special areas, of course, is the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance. Check that out at GWAT Wall. That is all part of the Romans Warrior Foundation and our little organization with the TPO. We manage the Field Ops Division for the Romans Warrior Foundation. Also brought to you by the Heroes Media Group. You're tuning in right now. We are broadcast on all the Heroes Media Group. Go check out Adam Bird's awesome project that he has put together to give us a platform. Now, you see, there went my camera. Hang on one second, folks. I know you can hear me, but you can't see me. Hang on one second. We're going to bring this right back. And there we go. Okay, so, and I'll get to the story why my camera's going to do that through this entire episode here until I get a new PC back in. I'll give you that good story there. But Heroes Media Group, check out all the cool podcasts that they have out there. Just a ton of fantastic warfighting community podcasts for our active military veterans, first responders, and their families. All right, so we got the bills paid. We got all that good stuff in there. If you joined us last week, we had Jimmy Burgess on Sunday. Great conversation. Jimmy is a super cool guy. He is part of our Field Ops Division out of Missouri down there. And the guy I'm bringing into the show tonight is basically not just a part of the field ops teams out here, but he's also going to be joining the True Patriot Outfitters as one of our executive board members to help lead us into the future, man, and chime in with his expertise to help make sure that we build an organization that's going to be around long after we all retire and hang stuff up. That's the name of the game. Let's go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Justin Bricklen. There you are. What's up, Brick? How you doing?
What's going on? Doing pretty good. I'm a little sore.
Sore? You been working out, dog?
I just, we have to go and we do like invasive species monitoring.
Yeah.
And so myrtle spurge, I found a big patch of it, and about 100 pounds of it. So carrying that back down the mountain.
I knew a guy that had vertical spurge once, man. Those shots are painful, I hear.
It mess you up.
That's awesome stuff, dude. We're going to get to that on what you're doing now, the cool work that you're doing here in the state. That's super awesome, man. That's wicked cool. So you're joining us here, dude. I wanted to explain why my camera's going to shut off before we get into, going down memory lane here and checking stuff out. My camera's going to do that a couple times. So you're just going to have to bear with me. You'll be able to hear me, but my camera's going to stop. Here's why. and I'll speed this up. Yesterday, wicked lightning storm, like something out of Game of Thrones, dog. It was spooky stuff. We had like thunder, lightning going off. I've never heard lightning like that before. It was the thunder that was echoing was just like we were in a can. It was so wild. And then boom, we take a round. I'm telling you, incoming. Flash and kaboom happen instantaneous, same time. I felt the air in this room, in my studio, move. I felt the concussion hit the house. It was that close. So to speed things up, I'll tell you, the house didn't get hit. I found out because after things calmed down, I went out and talked to my neighbor. He was out there. We were both looking at our house. House is like, what the hell was that? His wife told him she actually saw it hit in the field right behind us. Very close to us, but it actually touched the ground out back. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. We escaped. No harm, no foul. Well, not true. So I don't know if a little arm jumped over to my house or if we got hit with an EMP that came off of this thing. I don't know the physics behind it, but what I can tell you is on a power strip, on a nice surge protector, one of the devices on my surge protector no longer wants to power up. And that's my entire PC that's less than a year old. Really nice, built for rendering sound and video and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's dead. I ordered a power supply yesterday, got it overnighted from Amazon, got it here today, threw that in it, hoping that was the problem. Nope, dead as a doornail. So I know somewhere in the motherboard, she's toast. So at this point, none of it can be trusted, So yeah, new PC time. So then we start going through the house. Well, we got these LEDs, recessed lights that are in the deal. And we've been having a few that were flickering, okay, just starting to flicker, which they shouldn't. They should be 10-year lights, but whatever. Lennar, thanks for the junk. These things were flickering. Well, guess what? They're not flickering anymore because they all died. So I've got 10 or 12 recessed lights random placed throughout the house that are now dead or barely barely on. So they all took a shot throughout the entire house. My wife lost a monitor. Her monitor won't fire up. And last of the things, I'm out in the garage and I'm looking around and I'm like, no. I go look on the wall. Yep, my control panel for my sprinklers. Blank, dead as a doornail. So, dude, I don't know what it was, but oh my goodness. Yeah. So, any rate, I'm running on an old laptop. And the camera just seizes up every now and again. So yeah, that's we're gonna have to deal with that throughout the day. But yeah, just collateral damage all over the place. You were telling me off air though that you come from a place where you're used to houses getting hit with lightning. What the hell?
In San Antonio, yeah. So we had some kind of rock formation underneath the housings area. I lived in Alamo Ranch in San Antonio, so if anybody's watching from San Antonio, you know exactly where I'm talking about. When a thunderstorm, we kind of created tornado type weather on our end, and they kind of swept across Stone Oak and out to the east of New Braunfels. But we got a lot of lightning, and so there was this one house. You'd go outside and the tarp on the house. Like, yep, got him. You just didn't want to go outside in the morning when you had to go to work and it was lightning because it was like,
Oh, yeah. You're just a lightning rod at that point.
Yeah.
Scary.
100%. So.
Yeah, that was the thing when it was going on. I'm like, I'm not going outside to look right now. No, as close as that shit is, no way. Come back in here, crispy fried. No, thank you. Well, cool, man. All right, so let's get into it. You are United States Air Force, recently retired.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Any of you folks following the TPO online, you saw some of those awesome pictures. I had the honor to be there at your retirement. My very first official retirement ceremony that I've never had a chance to go to one. So that was so cool, man. I had a really cool time watching that unfold. They did a good job for you.
Thank you. It was nice. It started snowing. That was what was crazy about it. It started snowing right when it kicked off. So
that is true. We had we got, as soon as we got, I don't know, maybe the Castle Rock area or so, it kind of backed off a little bit. So coming back into Denver, it wasn't too bad. 21 years.
21.
And you're got to be tired of hearing this. You don't look old enough to have able to be able to serve for 21, dude. You've got like the fountain of youth. I'm over here aging like milk, homie. I mean, when did you go in? Like when you were 12? What the hell?
I went in at 22, 22.
No
but
kidding.
All of my joints and knees and back and everything else is shot. But 21 years. Deployments, the deployments were, you're in full battle rattle, so you're probably carrying a pretty good load everywhere you go. And we had you met Roman at the retirement ceremony, so me and Roman used to have to walk probably miles to what we called guard mount, where we would get our assignments. And then you'd stand out wherever you were at all day long for 10, 12, sometimes every now and then 16 hours, just standing there as a guard. Yeah.
Ouch.
Watching people.
So what you're saying is you're like that fancy rental car, looking good, but man, these things are rattling a little bit.
So I feel bad I work with a biologist right now, and I feel bad for him because he was having to carry a lot of that stuff off the mountain today. So he's like, "Yeah, you're getting old." And I was like, "Dude, you're only 32. I'm 42. So help me out. Help a brother out.
Right. That 10 years makes a difference. They don't realize that. They will. They will.
They will eventually. I wish I had a wheelbarrow or something. It was fun.
Nice.
Had a good time though.
So yeah, man. So after serving there, now in retirement, what is the work that you're doing right now?
Unemployed at the moment. So the
but you're doing an internship though, right?
Correct. So it's like the military will give you 6 months, up to 6 months. It may have changed recently. I think if you didn't get it in time, there's some policy changes. There's all kind of weird things going on. So what they'll do is if you get an organization or you get a government entity that wants to train you, they'll do it, and you don't get paid for it, right? So you're still getting your military paycheck, but that company is investing as an internship for the individual.
I see.
Even though I'm a little different because of my degree, but I know that there's not really a standing hard job that I'm trying to intern into.
Right.
It's more of I need the experience and want to be out there. I spent years working on a master's degree in a field that I wasn't doing at the time in the military. So whenever you go and apply for those jobs, there's that caveat, like, what's your experience? And it's a little different for me because it's a scientific field versus more of an operational management, safety, things like that. If I just dropped in and say, hey, I got to pay the bills, I got to go do operational, I got a crap ton of experience, but it's hard to translate that into a civilian speak. So you'll be talking a different language than the hiring staff. So you're kind of like, you have to learn. It's like starting from scratch and having to learn it all over again.
Dang.
Yep.
And that can be easy, man. When you know what you know, right? I mean, I heard the people talking about you, from your commanding officers there to your subordinates to your peers. You know what the hell you're doing, dude. You get shit done, and you know what the hell you're doing. So there's got to be some challenge to that. Stepping into the civvy life, going, okay, now I gotta show these silly bastards that I know what I'm doing again. Got to start that shit all over again.
since you brought that up, they offer like transitioning programs. I think the one that I attended is really good, called Floor Block.
Okay.
And they take you to the corporations and the businesses, and you sit there with everybody that's transitioning out, and you're talking to the hiring staff, and you're talking, they're giving you like, this is what we do, this is who we're looking for. And a lot of it is you have to swallow a lot of humble pie of like, yeah, I'm going to have to almost start all the way over at the bottom to be able to get back up where I want to be.
Climb their ladder now. Yeah.
Correct. And then they don't tell you this, but you're fighting internals for the same position when you're trying to. So a lot of people will get discouraged when they get like 50 rejection letters. I've got all of my friends that are around the same time that I'm transitioning out, they're running into the same thing. So it's kind of like that learning curve and that being patient part of it.
Yeah, that can't be easy, man. I never had to go through that myself, so I can't sit there and say that I know. I mean, I have similar experience in the areas of, just trying to start all over again. Just a different type though, different type of start all over. I served my time at a school district for 10 years and really lost touch with a lot of my skill sets, that I had perfected going into that job, because there was no place for me to use them there. So like project management, I couldn't keep my project management certification because I had no projects to manage there. The job, they didn't want that, type thing. And so it was definitely when I too have a master's degree. So I come out here and it's like, how do I tell people that I know what the hell I'm doing other than, look, I got a degree, but for the last 10 years, it's like, it's hard to show anybody that you had, done anything like that. It's like, I haven't forgotten how to do it. So let's go after it. So yeah, that I can only imagine in your case. I mean, that's the expertise piece in that. This internship that you're doing is kind of cool though, man. I mean, that's a cool deal. It's not easy work, but and the old boy, he warned you about it coming up, so he's got a good weight loss program for you.
He did. So kind of set the scene. So I go in and he's looking me up and down, and he's kind of like thinking about it, and he's the natural resource manager. The guy's very well known in this state, and I'm looking at him, I was like, hey, just give me a shot. And he's like, okay. So then I come in the next day and I have my volunteer shirt and my hat, and he looks at me and he goes, those are not cheap. You're gonna work for them. And I said, don't worry about it, I'll work for them. And he walked off, and I was like, oh, he goes, don't worry, they're a size smaller, you'll fit in them pretty soon. I'm like, okay. Jokes started. So yeah, he'll lead things for me to identify. Like he'll bring in random weeds and be like, what is that? I'm like, I'm in my book, let me look it up. So I gotta figure out what this is. So yeah, we have a lot of fun. He's going to be retiring soon, so he can be very missed in the state of Colorado. He actually just won an award today, the 2005 Endangered Species Champion. Like he does endangered species here, so he got recognized for his hard work for conservation for that.
Oh, a conservation! I was like, how do you win? Like, you're the most invasive. You're the most endangered of the species. No, that makes sense. Yeah, so a conservation recognition. That's good stuff. And the conservation tip is so huge, man. It's it's easily scapegoated, but when you stop for a second and put away the punchline or put away the politics, the bottom line is conservation's a real deal, and it's something pretty serious. If you enjoy the outdoors like we do, then we got to take an active part in it, right? I mean, we got to do our part, because I guarantee you, the white frame sunglasses, driving the wake boat, blasting Nickelback, drinking their White Claws, they're not doing it, right? So it's the sportsmen and women that are out there that are actually able and actually do care to contribute. Be that fishing, hunting. I mean, that's the other side, trying to get, teach people how important hunters are. I mean, yeah, where you and I have come up in some sections of the Midwest, there's a batch of folks. If it's brown, it's down. Okay.
Down.
Yep, I get that. But for the most part, that's not especially out here. That's not the crowd that you're going to run into out here. It's too damn expensive to look at it that way.
Oh,
so, yeah, right. So taking care of the outdoors, man, in some fashion, however that is, from invasive species or just cleanup or habitat, you name it. It's important stuff. So that's cool, man, that you're getting a chance to be a part of that on the ground. Boots on the ground.
Yep, I'm doing everything from invasive, like plants, fish, birds, rangeland management, like anything that you could think of that. Give me an example. So we just identified where we found 2 red-tailed hawk nesting areas with chicks in it, and then we found a great horned owl nest she had her babies in it. So we were looking for. We got a tip for another kind of invasive weed. Since it's spring, everything's flowering.
Oh, yeah.
I found them a lot easier. So when we're out there, we ran into these nests because we're trying to get ready for the monarch migration and the pollinators and the bees. So while we're out there, this great horned owl, she was not playing games with us. And then we ran across 2 red-tailed females that were not happy that we were doing what we were doing.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, we have fun with it. Well, it's like if you do something that you like to do, it's not really considered don't really think of it as a job. It's something that you try to keep going and try to keep doing. Then we've stocked the lakes today, so we had a lot going on, but I thoroughly enjoy it. So I'm kind of sad whenever it's coming to an end. Could be coming to an end in a couple months. So, but I'm pretty sure I can just come out and just jump in and help out whenever he's like, "Oh, there's Justin. Let's put him in a truck. Let's go."
Nice.
That's what we do. But
so you
I was the one out there picking up those White Claw cans.
Yep. So when you're stocking, man, you putting that Florida strain largies in? Is that what we're stocking?
I wish. So there was one that we didn't stock because there were some issues with it. But I noticed there were some fish in it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like bluegill." And so the whole thing is full of bluegill, and then I kind of made the comment like, maybe we should put in some smallmouth in this lake, or maybe some pike. And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to hear about that." Then I was like, "Okay." So I tried, guys. If
right.
You know what I'm talking about. I tried.
There's a section, Yampa, Yuma, whatever, up in the mountains, one of the rivers that smallies have gotten in there, and they're considered invasive. And so they want you to catch them and throw them on the bank pretty much for the raccoons and the birds. Yep. I couldn't do it, man. There's no way I could do that if I know that they shouldn't be up there, but they are. And no, I couldn't throw a good river smallie up on the bank. That's just no. I mean, I barely could do that. Yeah, carp, yeah, but I couldn't do it with dogfish and pike. There's some areas in Minnesota where they ask you to. It's like, just get these things out of here because they're taking over, and it's like, I don't think so. They're fun to catch.
But yeah, that's all that's going on over here. We're just kind of trying to restore and keep everything nice and healthy. So
what's it been like, man? How are you doing? You and the family. How are you doing in this transition time coming out of? I mean, that was 21 years, dude, of like the most pivotal time in your life. So now here you are. What's how are you finding ways through that? How are you adapting with that? And how are things going for you?
They're going. I guess that's the best way you can say it. It's an adjustment. You're leaving a camaraderie of individuals to go out to pasture. So the wife and the kids, they're still young, so they don't really nothing has changed for the kids part of it, but the wife part of it is kind of more anxiety on her part, right? She's kind of like a little anxious, a little, okay, what are you doing today? What time do you need to be up? What time are we gonna, it's very structured. My wife is like an A personality, gold from everything. If it's not on the calendar, I'm in trouble.
Nice. Nice.
I'm going to fish a tournament in 2 weeks, and I'll make a comment, and she looks at the calendar and side-eyes me like, you're going where? So
No, you're not. I don't see it on here.
So I'm kind of more, I just go. So
Gotcha.
She keeps me in line more now than she did whenever, going in uniform every day, because she didn't have to think. Part of what's the schedule look like this week. That's kind of getting more into the weeds of the organization, having to reorganize and re-switch everything around. And but yeah, the good thing is her parents are out here, so she's got a good support system as well. Other than that, it's been, like I said, you're in that transition time frame where you can drive yourself crazy trying to force something that's not going to happen, and then completely wreck yourself by the end of it. So
right,
I'm taking it, I'm a little different, kind of taking one day at a time, and then each day is different. And there's always an opportunity. I make this joke, so I have one of my friends call me every now and then to kind of check up on me, and I made the joke because he's transitioning and he doesn't have a hit or an interview or a job yet, and I made the comment. I was like, hey, I guess we're gonna have to start washing cars in our Speedos with a power washer. And he goes, don't laugh, I'm coming up with my trailer today. So
Justin, I put the O in Speedo.
So we always joke back and forth, and he goes, yeah, don't ever make fun of that. I was like, I'm gonna open a car wash over here, son. I'm gonna give me a detailing service, I promise you. So,
oh, where's my soundboard when I need it? I could drop car wash in here.
Be out there sudding it up.
Yeah. Love it, man. There is something about that, because Brian and Adam and I, we've been chatting, off grid and just staying in touch with, the plans, what we're trying to do with stuff. And Brian and I talk, quite a bit, always about obviously Romans and TPO, what we're trying to build with that, with his family and mine, having so much invested in this thing, going forward. And it's kind of a funny thing because, a few years ago, I was given the opportunity and said, I don't have to work.
Yeah.
My wife is extremely successful, and she was supporting me on this attempt that I was about to make. Thank you, COVID, for saving me thousands and thousands of dollars. I was going to go chase fish around the country out of my bass boat, and she was going to support me. She's like, do it. Go make a run for it. See if you can do it. And I'm like, holy hell. So then COVID jumps in there, thank God. And, quite frankly, it saved me just tens of thousands of dollars. But nevertheless, the point is that I had the option to not have to work. And what did I choose to do? Was open this nonprofit and put myself busier than I ever have been. And to a great degree, it's helped save me personally. It's that mission, right? It's that serving others and mission oriented. When you get involved like that, that's such a big key for guys, I think, especially during the transition, is that staying busy. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're stressed, right?
Oh, no.
Right? It's like a good busy schedule actually is something that most of us that have had them, we actually prefer it that way as opposed to too much damn lag time. It's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'll tell you, dude, I could not be, my wife told me this after especially after the last couple of weeks that you and I have had with text and conversations about things that you've got brewing for us that you're working on for the TPO. And my wife looked at me. She says, that might be the best decision you've made in the last 3-4 years, was asking him to join the TPO. And she's talking about you, dude. And I'm like, honey, I think you're right. Because you're a guy that can motivate me, man. And I see your energy, and dude, it helps recharge me. Because I have no problem admitting the fact that, brother, I got one head and way too many hats, and sometimes it just overwhelms me. And all of a sudden I start turtling, right? I start pulling back going, too many things going on. And I don't know which one to attack, right? So when you surround yourself, Brian and I said this last night, get rid of the losers in your life, okay? The people that hold you back or that are stagnant, and surround yourself with just some savage sumbitches that like to go get shit done, positive energy. And homie, you are that. For me and for a lot of people around us here. So I'm excited to see what we do together out there, dude, and what we can build, because she's still a big lump of clay right now, the TPO is, and it needs shaped. We got the concepts, we kind of know what the foundation is, and now it's just a matter of making it all come together and be connected in our community. So thank you for sure. And yeah, dude, that's a mission, purpose. Gotta have it, right?
Yeah, gotta have it.
For sure. Well,
all
good.
The military guys are just filled with ADHD, so.
Right. Dude, I can tell you, since I went to your retirement and liked a few of those posts, the stuff that shows up in my feed now, half the stuff, it's like, okay, that's insider humor in the Air Force world that I'm just not getting, but I'm gonna like it or LOL on it and just keep going, because I like that my feed's getting broke up with that. That's good.
Yeah.
And it's like, boy, Zuckerberg, you were listening the whole time I was in that deal. For sure. Because it started popping up all over the place there. So how old are the kids again? Remind me. You have 3 beautiful daughters, and they're very young.
Ooh. So I got twin 6-year-olds.
Yep.
And then I got a mini me that's 2-year-old.
That's awesome. Yep.
So she,
a female version of dad.
the youngest twin, Everly, she is itching and clawing to go fish, and so
nice.
I'm trying to see how I'm going to pull that off. I'm just not comfortable with her swimming skill. She can swim, but you flip a kayak or you get out there and get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm not around. That's kind of a sketchy situation, but she has no fear. That's the other part of it. So
got to have that respect for the water, for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to pump the brakes. My brother always told me, you got to take her. I'm like, yeah.
Your rig, is that a good rig to take a little one on as well?
No, not the one that I have.
Right.
The P127, like if you get to, you can stand up, is real stable.
Yeah.
Really stable. You put another seat in the back on that thing. That's how I flipped it before. Like I was leaning over. I have a sidekick, and when I do put it on, I can take it. And I was kind of leaning over to kind of put the wheel down in the water, which you should never do. But this is me learning the kayak world.
Yep.
And I rode that big thing, but that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about, or getting a hook in the head. So
that's the one. Yeah, that's the biggest one. I was going to say, because we've got unlimiteds and seats galore, dude. If one of these days, if you need that, of course, I've got some with a bow mount motor. I got the others with the NK180s on them, and you can get comfortably. You can run tandem in that thing for sure. We actually even have, I don't have any on hand, but I've been meaning to buy one for this type of a situation. But we have what's called a buddy seat. So it's not the full 360 Fusion seat that we have. It's just more like a canoe seat that bolts onto our track for kids, to be able to just sit on in the front or back, however you want to do it. And you just slide your seat around to balance out the weight. 650 pounds in those things, dude. They can handle 2 people, no problemo. But they don't do anything for flying hooks. That much is certain.
At Mach 3.
Yeah, exactly.
She's sitting behind me. No. But I think she's really good. When she does fish, she's like unbelievable. Right now, when trout, like her thing is trout right now. But
nice.
She knows what I do, so she's like, "Nah, I want to. You ain't leaving. I'm going with you." And that's kind of the whole conversation we have to have. So
that is so cool, man. That is so cool. There will come a time where they're just like, they won't want to be around you. So this is so, you're in that great time right now. I remember those days. The first ever tournament that I ever got in, I took my son with me. And there were 2-man tournaments out there, and it was just a little, bunch of farm guys. So I thought, yeah. There were 14, 15 boats there. I was the only non-bass boat. My son and I pull up, we're rolling into my 15.5-foot Capri Classic with a Force 125 sitting off the back, baby. With a good strong wind and my hat turned backwards, and if I got down behind the windshield, we could pull 31, 32 mile per hour, no problemo. Yeah, we still, and that one there, that's, those memories, though. He and I he's 22 now, and we still sit around and we talk about that. I actually got him convinced he's ready to get out in a kayak. He's never been, so he's ready to go. And he volunteers and helps, set all the kayaks up a lot of times over at Stanley. So he'll get up in the morning, come over there, set everything up, and then he heads off, And so he's done that several times, so he's ready. So it'll be good. I'd like to get him out there and start competing with us. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
He'd probably come out and beat us all. That's what happened.
I'll tell you, in his heyday, he would have, and he'd have done it with a Senko worm and a frog.
Yeah.
That's all the kid needed half the time. That's his patience and his know-how of where to throw that damn Senko. Yeah, he has caught a lot of fish in his day, so good stuff. Well, that's awesome, dude, with the family there and the wife, the transition piece. Brother, from all of us, especially all of us civilians out there, thank you, man, so very much for everything that you've done and continue to do and are gonna do. Man, it's because of guys and families like yours, man, that my goofy butt is sitting behind this microphone here today, and meeting you on the trail. When did you get into kayak angling? When did that start for you from the kayak?
So I was always been in the boat world, right? When I joined the military, I bought a Skeeter Spitfire with an Outlaw motor on it. That thing would go scream. I had to sell it, not publicly because of the motor. That thing would scream. I came in second that was the first year out of Little Rock. Came in second at Angler of the Year. Then I sold that boat, and then moved to I went to DC, so I didn't have a boat then, and I fished as a co-angler non-boater for ABA. I did a couple of those on the Potomac River, and then I went into San Antonio. I bought an actual what would I have? I think it was a nitro. It was a nice boat, really nice. And I fished out of the club in San Antonio, and then the twins came along. Bye-bye boat.
Yep. fastest way to get rid of a bass boat.
I was rolling across Texas. Like, I was everywhere I went, no issue. Then the twins came. My wife did not want me. She knows that I love to fish, so she was like, "I'm gonna get rid of the boat." And I was like, "We got to get rid of it." So yeah, I got rid of it. And then my friend Steven, he was sitting in his office one day, and I walked in, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm looking at kayaks." I was like, "Okay." So I was like, let me see what you're looking at. Because me, in my mind, like a kayak,
Yep.
he's like, I'm looking at this native slayer. And I was like, okay. So he had already had a native slayer, an older version, and he bought one. And so in Texas, Lake Brawning and Calaveras, it's a freshwater redfish lake. And so what you do, they have all these guided trips that go out there and they have these guide boats. And so what we did with the kayaks, we threw what they call a coca-hoa, is just a swim bait, and we just dragged it with a rattle and another pole with a rattle trap, and we just kind of pedaled along, but following the guide boats, and wham, and you're kind of holding on and
Dog, that sounds so fun.
And I'm talking about, I think one of them that we caught, I think it was like 30 something inch. It was huge.
Good Lord.
36 for a freshwater one. Where we were, I think it was close to the record. But yeah, that's how I kind of got into it. And then we went from red fishing, because I was like, hey man, I really just want to fish bass tournaments. And he's like, hey, pull up this app. It had Tourney X. That's where I got introduced to Tourney X in San Antonio. And we used to fish the working man tournaments during the week. And I mean, we're fishing against people that, you know, we were kind of suspect. You know, sometimes we'd win, sometimes we wouldn't. Then we both went to Florida, and I bought my own kayak, which was the Bonafide, and we fished that's where I found actually Bassmaster's kayak division.
Nice.
So I started doing that, and I was doing pretty good in there, and monster fishing in Florida. I remember I pulled up, never been to this lake, pulled up, met one of the guys in the club at the same boat ramp, and he looked at me and he goes, somebody's going to catch one over 23 today. Somebody's going to catch one. It's going to be given. This lake has monsters in it. Somebody's going to catch them. I said, okay. I'll go out of the boat ramp, and take a left, went to this boat dock and threw a chatterbait in there, and boom, 23 and 3/4.
Good Lord.
So you got to think, I could do that in a bass boat. It's so easy, right? It's so easy in a bass boat. You get a 23-inch bass on a kayak.
Dude.
You saw how I was trying to dip net out there the other day at Norton. I'm just crying like, oh, God. And I finally get him. And it was like one of those adrenaline rushes, like adrenaline dump. Like,
it's like buck fever, dude. It's like bass fever.
Never had it during when I was in a boat. Kayaks are a totally different world.
Yeah.
Like, anything and everything can happen and go wrong, and then if you do end up landing the fish, it's just that much better.
Oh man.
You got poles dropping in the water. You're measuring boards in the water on a leash, and you're trying to, so.
It's just chaos, controlled chaos going off, yeah.
And in the mental thought of, what if he jumps over my net? Yeah. And that's another thing, so.
Dude.
But then I got here, after Florida, I came here, and then I met you guys. And then,
culture. You stormed onto this scene, dude. I mean, like, the first one I remember seeing you at was Red Willow. And that was like the first event you come in and you win the damn thing, like right out the gates, and it's like you made your presence well known in Colorado right out the gates in one of our better fisheries over in Nebraska there at Red Willow. I mean, that's a great little fishery over there with bigs always possible in that water for sure.
So I'm trying to see how Elwood's going to play. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to kind of get out of Colorado. Not saying I don't like to fish Colorado. I'm just does not have the quality.
I'll say it. I do not get excited about fishing any body of water in this state anymore. The Double S podcast is not sponsored by anybody other than, so I have no problem saying it. I'll do it, and I do it for the TPO, to take guys out and introduce them to the outdoors. But if Gene personally is sitting around, I'm not thinking about, I can't wait to get out and lift and reel on something else out here. No, that's
my hook set style. I mean,
dude, your hook set style is violent. You are one of them old school slackliners. G himself would be proud of you, dude. That is the wicked sound when you're behind me. I just hear that schwack. It's like, Jesus, does the fish have any lips left? What the heck was that?
If I can get him stunned enough, I can get him to the boat before he figures out what's going on.
Oh, you do. There's a concussion that comes with that hook set. No, that's why I quietly, Jason Lovell was probably the only guy that knew, besides my wife, of course. I went over and fished with the sticks on the I-80 ponds over there, and I had a blast, dude. I didn't do great in the tournament at all, but the fish that I caught them the way they're supposed to be caught. They were where they should be. I went all in on one little pond, just because I didn't know that many, so I was like, nope, I'm just going to sit here. There were 3 of us, some bank fishermen, and a bass boat came in towards the middle of the day. That's a lot. It was a lot of people on that little body of water in there, but it was so fun, dude, catching those big green ones. And yeah, I had my the 5th fish. Hook set like a Girl Scout there, and it was, it's like she had it in her mouth, and then the kids walked in, right? Just pooey, got rid of my jig in a hurry. It's like, damn.
That's the scary one too, because them jigs have come flying back to where.
Yeah, but yeah, it was all jigs and Texas rig, man. That's what I was catching them on. The one thing I was gonna do, which I kind of should have, because it looked like one of the other guys that was on the water, it's what he hit the big bass of the tournament on, was taking a chatterbait and throwing it out and jigging it.
Yeah.
I used to do that a ton with a chatterbait. Long time ago, I would literally pitch a chatterbait under docks and just, into the pockets and just sit there and pull it up and let it drop, and boom, they'd smoke it, and it's you not a lot of guys. Most guys throw the chatter out and they use it as a moving bait only. They don't dead stick it like that and actually jig it.
That's how I caught that 23. Threw it up there against the pollen.
Yeah.
Let it flutter all the way down, and then picked it up. And when I picked it up,
whack.
It was over.
That's awesome stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, it's I feel you on that though, and so that's why I'm excited. I'm actually going to bring up to Jim that we should put the I-80 chain of lakes, because that's only like that's the distance of, just like you're driving to Elwood, and from North Platte all the way to, say, Lexington. There, if you look at that stretch, dude, there's some big fish in that water, because the guys were saying this last weekend that it wasn't fishing great, but also not bad. But like the winning bag on the bass tournament on Pueblo wouldn't even have cracked the top 4, with these guys over here. And they said it's been known to fish better than what it did this last weekend. That whole area is still a little early right now. So yeah, you can hit 90 there, no problem. And it's like, I like the sounds of that. Let's get after that. The guy that won it, he had literally a stringer. His big fish was 17.75 and his small fish was 17. So he had 5. I mean, just 17 is, especially out there, those things, thick shoulders on them. Yeah, that's a ton of fun to catch a whole stringer full of those.
That's kind of how it is in Florida too. You get to 17, it's like catching a 13.
For sure. Awesome stuff. Well, cool, man. Listen, we're going to go ahead and transition this thing in to our sports and shit segment here. If you're cool with hanging out and kind of chatting up on some of the stuff we got here, if you got any insight into it, we'll touch on just a couple of these, some of the headlines going on there, and then we'll talk some fishing in there, some local fishing, some national fishing, and then we'll touch the shit part of it. We'll just hit some of the big headlines, all that kind of stuff. You down for that?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. One sec here. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and fire this up. All right, welcome to Sports and Shit, this segment here with the Double S Podcast. All right, so in the sports world, the stuff kind of dominating through every now and again, dude, on the social media tip, it's kind of cool just to get away from the garbage and the boohoo and the naysay and just jump into some other stuff that, quite frankly, isn't like real big and powerful, but it sure is a nice distraction every now and again, dude. And that's there's nothing wrong with that. NBA playoffs. Do you follow basketball at all, dude? Because I got nothing on this. I mean, I think the Nuggets are still in it right now. I don't know, dude. I'm not a big basketball guy.
A little bit. I'm more college.
Gotcha.
Hang my hat. But I do watch it when it's interesting. I have a couple of college players off of my team that play for the Thunder.
Okay.
So I kind of check in on them every now and then and see how they're doing.
You can watch like the last 3 minutes and that's pretty much it, right? Of a basketball game.
I looked at it last night. It was like fourth quarter, and it was like 85 to 120 something. No, I was like,
"Ooh,
no."
Good night.
One down. Good night.
Yeah, for sure. From what I understand, we've got a special sports correspondent that's going to start chipping in and helping us with this section here. He stays plugged into stuff. We're going to be bringing him in some later episodes here to get some help with this kind of stuff, because I know a lot of viewers. I mean, a lot of people follow this stuff. I'm more for the less brainy sports, dude. That's the thing. I'm a bull in a china shop. As a kid, I played football. I mean, I played just about every sport, but the ones that I got into organized were football and boxing. And then in my 30s, I discovered hockey and fell in love with it, and said, had I had hockey as a kid, I'd probably given up the other two sports, because I absolutely loved. I was a goalie. So yeah, those are the sports. It's all centered around aggression and hitting. That's unfortunately that's what I tended. I was an angry young man, so I gravitated to those things quite a bit. But from what I understand, NBA playoffs, there's some upsets taking place out there, man. So if you're a basketball fan, you got to be enjoying that. There's some good games. NHL playoffs are going on, and there has been some stories. Kind of sucks. The Avalanche are already golfing. That sucks a little bit, but you know what? That Dallas team is no joke, dude. I mean, the way they're powerhousing through some stuff right now. I think they just took down Winnipeg as well, I believe. That was the game that just went down. Dude, I think that could be the real deal team. And you can never feel bad about going out against like someone who goes deep into the playoffs.
Right.
Now, if you get taken out in the first round and then the guys that beat you go out in the second round, those sting. That stings where it's like, God bless America. That's stuff. But when the other team that smoked you is smoking everybody else, it's like, meh, I'm okay with that.
So I was a Capitals fan when I was in D.C. So.
Oh, there you go. Oven chicken, baby. Ovechkin.
Yeah. So the Penguins, when they played the Penguins, it got dirty. Good gosh, it would get heated. But yeah, that's kind of who I used to follow. At the time they hadn't won one yet, so it was like, oh, this is the year. This is the year. They get so close, but then they finally ended up breaking the ceiling. So
growing up, about the time my kids were, of age or being able to play, I was in my 30s. I had started playing myself. We played both inline and ice. Inline out here quite a bit, just because it was hella cheaper, and I just thought there were better opportunities for the kids to get involved. So we played that. And so of course the kids and I were big hockey nuts, right? And Ovechkin, my daughter was like 6th grade and she's playing, and my son, he was a little fella. He was like kindergarten, 1st grade, and he was playing. And when they saw the spelling of Alexander Ovechkin's last name and they heard it, first thing my daughter's like, did you just say oven chicken? I'm like, yes, Alexander Oven Chicken. That's who it is. So still to this date, my daughter's married. She's got her own house, and she'll still call him Oven Chicken even to this date. And what that guy's done and looking like he's got another year in him, man, that is so cool. I didn't think I'd be alive to watch Gretzky's records, go down.
Go down like that, yeah.
Yeah, but to me, the thing I love the most about it is that it is Alexander doing it. The way he plays, man, is so so Gordie Howe throwback, right? I mean, it's what makes hockey great, right, is the way he plays the game. And so it's cool to see him, now leading the charge with that. Let's see here. Other news going around the sports world. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The fishing side. Dude, did you see the Boyd Lake Bassmaster Elite on Boyd, or I guess it was Sabine River, but it sure looked like a Horsetooth Boyd Lake event to me.
I didn't get to watch like the live feed of it, but
I don't think you missed much.
I saw a lot of the afters after the weigh-in, right? So they do the weigh-in and then they'll interview the angler, and they're like, yeah, G-Man's like, I don't know what happened. I think he made a comment like his wife put a comment on his sandwich bag that says, every day a crackhead doesn't have money to support their habit, but they go out and they make it happen. Outworked by a crackhead. That's what she put on there. So,
dude, I got to be honest with you. When I saw the total weight, I thought we were talking one fish went that weight. And then I saw, no, that's 5 fish. The winner eventually, 5 fish, 8 pounds, 9 ounces for a day. I'm like, dog, that is literally a Horsetooth Reservoir day of fishing out there, of just Dink City. When the best in the world, go out to a place and the top guy is not, barely cracking 9 pounds for a day. Good Lord, what is going on the Sabine River right now? Was it, do you know, was it like weather conditions that killed it, or is it the state of the fishery? I wonder what the hell's going on there.
I think it was the weather. They've been getting a lot of thunderstorms and a lot of rain.
I was going to say, have they been getting flooding down there a ton?
They could. I don't know for sure, but they could. I mean, they could spread them out. Plus, what is it? May, almost June. So, given the fact that there was flooding, and then you went from having everything kind of staging out post spawn.
Yep.
Everything got scattered. It will help you.
I was going to say, not even scope could help this one, man. That was just Mother Nature reminding the field, I'm still in charge.
Put the trolling motor on high and just go.
Yeah, right. Junk fishing had to be the name of the game, right? Just keep moving, cover water. Big time. Heavy hitters is going off for the MLF right now. That's taking place. Group A looks like Michael Neal, he cruises to a Group A, and then looks like Group B is underway. Justin Lucas, he had himself a big day for that. So I think that's done the same way, but it's the heavy hitters one. So this is all the guys that measured like a big bass or something over a certain amount. So this event here is supposed to be like, I want to say like 3 pounds and above only is all they're allowed to put on the board or whatever. So it's got to be just bigs. That's kind of a cool deal they do middle of the stream. On a little bit of a somber note, did you happen to see what took place in the BAM League out in California? Yeah, so during an event, we actually had Mark Lassane on the TPO Doc Talk. Hang on a sec, let me reset my camera here. We had Mark, who is the director and founder of the Bass Anglers Magazine tournament trail that's out in California, and they have a kayak division. They had an event take place, started, went lines in, and not long into the deal, 911 call came in, some frantic calls come in about an empty kayak, and sure as heck, man, a guy wearing his PFD as well. Coroner's report's not fit just yet, but this was a guy known on the West Coast, well-known guy, young man, only in his 30s. And did not make it. They tried to revive him for about 45 minutes on from the time they got the call 6:37, they had the media boat at his location by 6:42. I mean, talk about just quick. Hats off, quick response, man. That they did everything they could do, because by 6:47 they had him on the shoreline there, and EMTs were tied in with him at that point, trying to do what they could, but the I'll tell you, I don't know any of the people out there other than Mark. Like I said, we had Mark on the show here, and I got a chance to get to know him. And I know that guy, he truly does care about his division. They literally canceled the tournament, right there on the scene. When they found out this, they called no joy on the entire tournament for the day, and basically stopped it. The suspicion is super, super cold water. He went in the water and hypothermia kicked in. It's still odd. Who knows? Maybe something happened, hit his head,
Went over and hit his head or something. There's no telling.
Yeah, you just no idea. But thank goodness he was wearing his PFD, so there didn't have to be a search and rescue operation. They were able to quickly get him, and see that there. But yeah, man, hearts, prayers, positive thoughts go out to all the anglers, all the family members, of course, of this guy. And I'm going to be honest with you, the thing that struck a little close to home. My son's name is Ryan, and we spell his name the traditional, our heritage is Scottish, and the Scottish Gaelic spelling of Ryan was Ryon. I've never met another individual ever who spells their name Ryan like that until I read that article. That angler, his name was Ryan, Ryon, and I'm like, yo, I know that's stupid to make a connection like that, but our minds play funky games, right? And I was just like, yikes, what the hell, It's like, I'm not going to tell my kid about this. That's no. You're still there. Exactly. But no, that's hopefully they figure out exactly what it was. And, like I said, unfortunately, freak accidents do occur, man. It is possible. You always got to plan for the worst. Use the 100 rule out there. If the water temp and the air temp don't equal 100, understand you don't have much time in that, if you go into that water.
Yeah, especially here in Colorado.
Oh, dude, that's all we deal with, right?
Yeah, remember what we did? What was that? The Winter Rough Riders?
Yep. And we're out there without dry suits like idiots.
And my line is freezing. My pole is. Yeah. You would have went over it. Oh my God. Yeah. Maybe the water might have been warmer. Actually, the water might have been warmer that day.
And I got my ice armor. That's what I wore that day. My ice armor from Clam. It's meant for it's the whole suit itself floats as well to keep you on top of the water, along with the PFD, and it is meant to offer you some type of initial protection to help you get back. It's meant for ice fishermen, right, in case they go in. But still, it's like nah. And besides, I'm not doing that shit anymore. If I go ice fishing, I'm going to go ice fishing. I'm not going to take the kayak out there if I got freezing lines anymore. It's just not worth it to me. I can find other things to do. We'll build rods, build tackle, or sit around and make fun of guys that are out there freezing.
That was a rough day. That was rough.
For sure. Well, let's go back to some cool stuff here. CKFC just had their Pueblo events, both bass and the multi. So first off, on the bass side, congratulations to Jimmy Straws, no stranger to us here. He picked off the bass with Jason Lovell coming in second place, my teammate there. I told him, I hope your back's good, bro. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because you're going to be carrying our ass this whole season in the team events.
I felt bad for Nick because I blanked on the first, Chatfield. I did not know largemouth existed in there. I could have had a shot. I'm trying to do the whole lift and reel with the smallmouth, so I got to make it up to him for Elwood. Yeah, we got Elwood, we got Norton. I mean, that's where I think that's going to be the fun, because I just think, to me, there's just more real actual bass fishing the way I think bass fishing should be done. Personally, the way I like to do it, and so I'm excited to see a bunch of real hammers get out there and just go have fun on it, and let's see where it all lies. But that was on the bass side. Then the multi-species goes off, and our boys, Matt Collins takes the W with Chen Char coming in right behind him there. Team Eagle Claw going in first and second. Nice job, gents. That was awesome to see. They two of the cleanest looking jerseys too. I mean, those guys didn't even look like they got dirty at all. An old guy once told me, don't trust a fisherman with clean clothes on. They're going to lie to you.
So yeah, they I wonder if they changed in the truck on the way to the awards because they knew what was up there for sure. But yeah, so awesome stuff. Looks like Pueblo was on fire. They had some great numbers that went up down there. So Pueblo was fishing really well, and that's good to see. That's our one saving grace in this state, I think, is Pueblo Res. Getting that stuff going. And that's pretty much it. I don't know of any other of the sports side of things that's taking place out there. Do you know anything else on the sports side that's going on?
Yeah, there's a really big thing going on right now. It's about to kick off up in Nebraska, actually. College baseball just entered to the regular season, so now they're going into conference play. So they're doing their conference, and then they're going to start seeding for the regionals and who's hosting and what's coming up for super. There's going to be a lot of partying going on in Omaha here pretty soon. So
those folks out there love their sports, dude, and they love their collegiate sports, man. Like for real. I mean, you gotta respect it, right? I mean, CU and Nebraska had those old time rivalries. I get it, and that's cool and all, but I love strong fan base areas, man. And Nebraska represents what it is. They don't have a pro team out there, right? But what they do have is a love for the collegiate, level of sports, baseball, football, you name it. And it is cool the way these little towns, you go into a little coffee shop in any one of those little towns and they're talking about it, man. They're talking, what do you think that kid is going to do this year type thing. That shit goes on still to this date, and you got to love that. I mean, that's shit. You came from that neck of the woods, dude. I mean,
Arkansas. So Arkansas has no pro teams. We live and die by our Arkansas Razorbacks. I'd say half of my family live in Louisiana, so they're LSU fans. So during football,
that's got to get interesting.
Oh my God. It is. So when I was growing up, I think LSU hung a dead pig off the side of their stadium. Cajuns, they get going.
It's not like you guys can go grab a tiger and kill it and hang it off the side of yours.
I know.
Not fair, man.
I was going to pull this up to kind of give you an idea. The projection with the anything hitting Colorado doesn't seem so. I guess the closest one that we're going to see, nobody's going to Oregon. So, yeah, if you're not in the SEC area or in California, you're going to have to watch baseball on TV.
There you go. Well, and we touch folks now with the Heroes Media Group. We're going all the way across, man. Across the deal. I should have been reminding folks of this as well. This episode is pre-recorded. We are not live, so if you've been trying to talk to Justin and I through this whole thing here, we're not being rude. Okay, we just can't see you because we're actually recording this because I'm going to be on the road for the next couple Sundays, so we're recording the next couple episodes here, and then we're just going to have them air at that time. So please do leave a comment, though. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll respond to it as soon as we can. Well, cool, man. So this section is called Sports and Shit. So we're going to wrap it up with the shit side of it. Although it's not really shit. It's just goofy stuff. Couple of some big things going down the deal. We'll get to the somber one first. Then we'll kind of step into the holy crap ones, and then some cool news. I think personally. First, the somber one, former President Joe Biden now has been diagnosed with cancer. There's a lot of speculation around it. This, that, who cares, dude? Really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. That's all smoke show stuff. It sucks. Cancer sucks, right? And no, I didn't vote for him. I didn't like him. I think he's one of the worst presidents we've ever had. But you know what? He's a human being, and if you're taking enjoyment in this, then you got something. You got a screw loose. No, this sucks, and for he and his family. And I wish them the best and hope he gets some good treatment and doesn't have to deal through pain or anything along those lines whatsoever. That's horrible. That's you don't wish that on anybody type thing. But that's dominating the news, to be honest with you, way more than it should right now. I think there should be some privacy piece, and that's maybe the only thing that strikes my head is, why is it dominating the news? Is this a whole watch this over here, why we move this over here type thing? I don't know.
Never know.
You never know. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's the holy crap moment. Dude, we don't get them that often here, but when we do, it's usually grabs the news. We got tornadoes in Colorado yesterday. That storm I was talking about out east, holy crap. And there was a tornado that landed down out there and stayed on the ground. One eyewitness, I don't know if this is official, but the guy that was recording the video watching it, he was in Bennett and he was watching it, as it was moving across there. He said it had been on the ground for 30 minutes. And I'm just thinking, mind you, all it's tearing up is sagebrush out there, right? I mean, there's nothing out there. But still, I mean, that's that's not too often that we hear about them and see them, even though we are technically the start of Tornado Alley. If you look in Colorado, Weld County Line Road is actually the cutoff run. And there's, I remember 16 years ago, I was still out here, and we had one up by Fort Collins there, an EF3 come up by the Budweiser plant. I lived right up by that, and it come ripping across there.
I thought we were going to have one that last year on the way back from Nebraska.
Right?
That whole storm head that was coming through. Wicked.
I have seen some wall clouds on that drive out there that are just, they're stunning. You can't help but just marvel at them. But yeah, then you realize, oh shit, yeah. I might need to pull over here and just, I'm going to watch that from a distance.
But it wouldn't surprise me because we form them at that location, what is it? Limber? What is the name of that little town when you hit
Julesburg?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
There's a little McDonald's and a couple of stores there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so flat. Going straight across, and that wind that comes from, I know in Colorado Springs, that when that wind comes over that mountain, it's getting deadly. Yeah,
you get those Chinooks down there for sure. When you get out to the eastern plains, northeast, east, southeast, there's just nothing out there. There's no trees. It is desert. We are a highland desert out here. People don't think that of Colorado, but that is the majority of our state is that, especially anything east of I-25. You're looking at that. And then you're talking Kansas and Nebraska out there. These are the high plains, man. If you remember back in the 1920s, I think it was, when the big Dust Bowl, took place out here, that's where it came from. There's just nothing out there. I will say, though, it was a lot greener than I thought it would be. I didn't think we'd really gotten enough rain, but there was Nebraska was getting a lot more green the further, actually sooner than what I thought. Normally, you got to keep heading east, and it gets greener and greener and greener. About that Elwood Lexington exit right there, that's when it starts to get into full. But the green is all the way North Platte range. You can see it. It's on the high, the grasses are green on the side of the road and such. So apparently eastern Nebraska is not that. Auburn, where our man Marty Hughes is at, they're under a water restriction. They can't water flowers, plants, anything. They can't wash their cars. The town has been so dried up that they've run water restriction in that area. So
yeah, they had a water restriction in I think Manitou Springs here a couple of days ago because too much water.
Yeah, the mountains got hit pretty substantial. We didn't see much of any snow down here, but the mountains did seem to get a decent amount of snow, so that runoff should be pretty substantial.
Oh yeah, because I've been breaking beaver dams here recently, trying to keep it from channeling and cutting and ditching out. So
right.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Those beavers, man, those boys do some fast work out there.
Oh yeah, they're busy.
That's all they got to do. The last, on a cool note, and this isn't, I'm not even, we don't shy away from politics whatsoever on the Double S, but I'm going to just point out there is an awesome budget bill that has been proposed, that has passed one section, and now I hope people can pull their head out of their booty and launch this. He's named it, of course, in the normal, showboat fashion, the big, beautiful budget bill or whatever in the hell it is he's calling it. But the thing is, there's a lot of good stuff in there for a lot of people. There may be some things you don't like, but there is a lot of good stuff in this bill for a lot of good people that could use that help. And I think it warrants it, to actually, it's the thing I've been saying. I've tried to find the good. I'm not a pro this or pro that. Okay. I'm pro America and I'm pro Constitution. That's what I am. But I will say executive orders are only okay. They're not law. So people got to pull their head of the Congress, needs to pull their head out of their booty and start getting this stuff into law. And so we can get some of these, these changes moving that, yes, more than half of this country voted for, so let's get it done. It's right now, it just feels like a lot of grandstanding and showboating. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah.
The midterms coming up, like they're about to start voting again next year for the ones that had safe seats at the beginning of the election. So
well, see, and that's
speak to their constituents.
And this is going to be a talk for a different show here. But see, this is what people don't understand about the immigration reform thing. This is why it's such a big deal. For me, it's a simple thing. It's immigration. I don't care. We're a country founded on immigration. That's fine. It's the illegal that I have a beef with. Okay, let's that you got to deal with. But no, the whole reseating, because regardless of if you're a citizen or not, if you're in an area, the census counts you, and it's supposed to, and that's how that one side of the aisle picked up a few extra seats in strategic places. Yep. That's why there's such a massive push to keep them here. And that's why there's such a massive push to get them out of here. It's a tug of war between these two sides going at it, man. And it's like, that's why you guys are not just, keeping this thing cut and dry. I've been wondering, what's underneath all this? Well, that's what it is. Because one side stands to lose some seats if they don't get counted by December 31st each year. And it's like, oh, I got you. Oh, there went my camera again. Hang on a sec. All right, there we go. So yeah, man, interesting stuff. Well, cool. That was sportsmanship, man. We touched on a few things. Talk about some fishing there. Guys and folks at home, us. We're about the outdoors with our nonprofit work out there. So we love anything dealing with the outdoors. Specifically what we do through the field ops division with the Romans Warrior Foundation and TPO is we do the kayak fishing and camping. That's kind of our focus right now. That's what we know the best. That's what we have the resources for, and that's what we try to tie in with. So, if you can get outdoors, do so. There's a healing power that's going on out there for all of our brothers and sisters. And if it's just a walk, find a lake, find a park, find a place that's got fewer people if you can, and just go enjoy some sun, listen to some birds, man. I know it sounds like an old guy thing I'm saying, but trust me, even if you're in your 20s, man, you'll be amazed at what it does for you, the clarity it helps bring to you, and the noises that it pushes away for you for just a little bit. And sometimes that's all you need I know I recharge, dude. When I went over to fish with the sticks, just that short little period that I was there, I recharged in a major way. I feel so much better now. No social media, just went over, grabbed a jig, grabbed a Texas rig that I learned from my buddy Justin, and I just started slinging it around out there and dragging it through the weeds, snapping it out of there, and just letting them hammer away on it. So, but yeah, and if you are looking for a cool place, I will say those I-80 lakes, man, look for the ones that are public, that are WMA. The state has a listing of them. Hit me up. I'll give you a map that's got them all listed along that stretch there, and there's some cool waters in there. The weekends they do get busy. Folks out there, they like to fish a lot more than we have here, I think, and it's just part of their life out there. And so, yeah, they do get busy there. But if you get out there during the week, it looks like it could be a really cool deal to go splash around. Well, Justin, thank you so much, Brick, for showing up here, dude, and for chatting with us, for everything you've been doing, dude. I'm so stoked and excited to be working with you into the future here, leading up this Colorado Field Ops team here with Jason, you, and me. I mean, that's basically where we're at right now these days. We'll look to bring on some other folks that are energized that have something they can throw into the mix there. And dude, I think we're going to do some really, really cool stuff as we go down. And I know we've got quite a few things brewing. Just holding my tongue until we get details lined in, and then I can start talking and telling people about some of the cool events we got going. So we'll have to have you come back on, man, and jump in and just like guest host on this thing anytime you want to, start raising some cane. You've got opinions left and right. You're slinging at me. So, it's always quiet when the Marine isn't here. That's the thing. Brian's not here.
He can stir the pot.
He does. He does a damn good job at it. I felt like a proud papa last night on the show. He was asking, the dude's got like experience beyond my years in like recruiting and all kinds of stuff. But he was a podcast host last night, dog, with that interview. It was fantastic. I'm like, psh, like he's got this. I'll just be over here tying jigs or something and let him go. Didn't even know my camera froze up. They went, I wasn't even there.
Just make sure you just hold the face.
Exactly.
Freeze and go.
Exactly. I'll just keep that face stuck there. All right, man, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Folks, thank you for tuning in to this pre-recorded episode here. We appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the likes and subscribes. Tell your friends about the Double S podcast. Let me throw that up one more time here. Go to YouTube. Hit us there. You can catch us on the True Patriot Outfitters YouTube. You can catch us on Heroes Media Group. You'll see us on all the Romans Warrior channels out there and the Heroes Media Group social channels. We're broadcast across multiple platforms, and the Double S podcast will soon be on all major audio. We got to get a few episodes underneath our belt before we can start sending that feed down to like Apple and Spotify and all that. The Doc Talk is out on all the major ones there, but that one's this one here. We go a couple more episodes, and then we'll be on all the audio downloads as well. That you can pick those up. But make sure to give us a subscribe and a follow. That would be a huge deal. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. You got anything else, Justin?
I do not have anything else, guys.
All right, then in the words of my beloved Marine brother, Mr. Brian Romans, something, and then he says peace and hair grease. And so we'll leave it at that.